Have you ever felt like a sellout, like you just haven't been or can't be yourself for whatever reason? I'm sure you have to some degree, as have I. Quite a lot these last few years, actually. And that's what prompted me to make this channel to begin with. I'm an atheist in the Bible Belt, and I felt like I just couldn't really be myself, my true, authentic self. Now, do I have friends and family who don't know about this channel? Yes, absolutely. So, how authentic am I being, actually? How true to myself am I being? I feel like I have to keep this part of my life separate, private, and not tell anybody about it. It's been hitting me pretty hard lately. Like, we live in this, it's not really a Christian nation, but it kind of is a Christian nation. You know, I wouldn't define it as that, but the majority of the people who live in the USA are Christians. And so by default, it's kind of like we're the minority. It's not a Christian nation, but at the same time, sometimes our families, our relationships, our jobs are affected because people believe that there's a creator out there that sees everything we do and hears everything we do, and they live their life accordingly. It's funny, I was sitting here thinking, should I make this video? Should I make a video about being my authentic atheist self? And I opened up Google and I just typed in the word atheist just to see, is there anything trending, any news topics out there? And this article came up. It's called How to Come Out as an Atheist Without Destroying Your Relationships. As of this recording, I have not read this article yet, so I thought maybe it'll be fun if I pull it up and react to it here. I already did a video before where I came out as an atheist on Facebook, so I've done that part, but I just wanted to see if there's anything in this article that resonates with me, or maybe it does with you. Maybe it'll help you if you're struggling with, telling people that you don't believe in the same things they do. How to Come Out as an Atheist Without Destroying Your Relationships. An article from lifehacker.com. All right. You can be true to yourself without spiraling into a fierce debate. I think that's true, especially when the people don't have faces. Jesus has a face, though. Huh. What's that about? Is that symbolism? All these people don't have eyes or noses or mouths, and Jesus is still gazing upon them with judgment. How about that? There are a lot of reasons you might prefer to keep your religious beliefs or lack thereof to yourself. In a society that typically defaults to faith of some kind, it can feel daunting to come out as a non-believer. Atheists can sometimes be stereotyped as jerks, been there, who want to debate or discount other people's religious beliefs. But your desire to come out as an atheist might have nothing to do with debating anyone, and everything to do with wanting to live your life honestly and according to your own principles. Often, by the nature of atheism, your concern isn't about spreading your belief, and it isn't about adhering to some sort of atheist code.
You gave me a code.
Instead, it's about transparency and truthfulness. Depending where you live and the beliefs of your loved ones, practical issues around belief systems can come up. Will your parents expect a certain faith leader to officiate your wedding? Are they expecting you to baptize your child? Do you feel like you're hiding something from your family and friends? If you've decided you're ready to come out as an atheist and it's safe for you to do so, you may be unsure of the best way to express yourself. Is there a right way to go about minimizing conflict with the believers in your life? Greta Christina, author of Coming Out Atheist, writes that there isn't one magical coming out formula that's right for everyone. Everyone's timeline is different and ongoing, since coming out isn't a single step we can take once and are done with. Here are some tips and reminders to make coming out as an atheist seamless as possible. First, define what coming out means to you. Only you know how in-depth and detailed your coming out needs to be. Here are some practical questions to help you nail down what your atheism means to you. Do you need to convince your family that you're happy without religion? Will someone you care about likely react negatively? How will this impact your family decisions down the line, like with marriage, kids, or lack thereof? What will this mean for family and community traditions? How will this impact your day-to-day life? In Coming Out Atheist, Christina frames your decision around the difference between secrecy and privacy. If you feel like your atheism involves deception, then your coming out should safely address whatever makes you feel like you're hiding who you are. I think that's true. Coming out as an atheist isn't the same for everybody. It's not as simple as, oh, just tell people that you don't believe. Because I hear that from people like, what does it matter? Just tell people. But, well, in some families, it's not quite that easy. Some families have more traditions of religion. They're more religious, period. There are situations where parents will not want anything to do with their children if they tell them that they don't believe in God. Just crazy stuff like that. So it's definitely not all the same. So honestly, if you are going to come out as an atheist, you need to do it if it feels like it's safe for you to do so. Focus on yourself. Coming out as an atheist should be about expressing your beliefs. It's not the time to go about changing someone else's. Keep in mind the questions above about defining your atheism as practically as possible. Again, this will be an ongoing process with opportunity for more conversations that dive into what you and the other people around you believe. For now, focus on I statements in order to keep the conversation as grounded as possible. In general, sooner is better. The sooner you come out, the more likely it is that you'll be able to pick the time and place and avoid potentially uncomfortable or even unsafe, spur of the moment coming out. Christina lays out the less than ideal situations that may arise if you push off coming out indefinitely. And it says the sooner you come out, the less likely it is that someone else will out you, that someone in your life will force the issue, or that crisis will make it necessary for you to come out right away, even though the timing is lousy, such as a health crisis, a death in the family, where religious beliefs and lack thereof suddenly become very relevant. That's true. I don't think anybody likes funerals, but I feel like they might be an extra level of uncomfortable for people who don't believe in God, because there is a lot of God talk at funerals, a lot of eternity talk, a lot of they've moved on to a better place, and it can be actually really uncomfortable. So apparently my computer doesn't like it when I have a couple tabs open. It acts like it's the hardest thing in the world to keep running. So I'm just going to read this next part right over here. It says, to plan things out, that it might be helpful to have a script and rehearse. And I think that's helpful to a degree, but it's more just like, make some bullet points. If you know you're going to have that conversation, then just make some bullet points of stuff that you don't want to forget to talk about. If you got to check your notes in your phone and be like, oh yeah, this was one thing I was going to say too. You don't really want to completely try to rehearse a script, in my opinion. I'm going to hit the next points hard because I feel like this video is long enough already. So it says, pay attention to the relationship first. Take this conversation one step at a time. If you're trying to preserve the relationships the best you can, then the moment you come out isn't the time to interrogate and attack religion. I think that's true. You don't want to go into any conversation that you're having with people who don't believe and just be like, I don't believe and this is why, and you're stupid for believing this. Like, just have respectful conversations. From what I've noticed, people take it very personally if you don't believe in their gods. It's a huge part of their life. Their whole worldview is shaped by having a god or two or three or however many. And if you don't believe, then they seem to take it more personally than I do if somebody says they do believe in that, because it doesn't really matter to me. There will be people who try to convert you. There will be people who want to know, why don't you believe? And they'll start saying, well, that you should believe because X, Y, and Z, and what's the logic behind this? And they'll try to pin you into a corner, make you answer these questions. And it's not really, the burden's not on you to tell them why you don't believe. If you don't believe, you don't believe. Here's an important point in the article: be confident. Make it clear that your coming out is not an invitation for group soul searching. You likely put a lot of thought into this decision, so let the room know that you're open to discussion, not debate. They're going to be like, oh, something happened, and that's why he or she doesn't believe anymore. And they'll try to dissect it and figure out, well, because they think that they have the truth, and they're going to be like, well, obviously this person is misled in some way. So you want to be confident in saying, I just don't believe. It's not, I don't really think I believe, because then they're going to attack. Finally, if you're coming out as an atheist and anticipate a bad reaction, be sure to establish a supportive community first. And if you don't have any friends in person that you can talk to about this, there's always a great online community. I think the main thing is that if you want to tell people you're an atheist, if you feel comfortable doing it, then do it. If you don't, then don't. You don't have to. I used to be a Christian and I haven't believed in God in like 12 or 13 years, and I still don't have those conversations sometimes. I still withhold that information from some people. And sometimes that makes me feel like I'm not being authentically me. And sometimes I'm like, I'm just kind of sparing myself from that conversation. So use your own discretion. Anyways, I'm back here on YouTube and I feel like I'm really rusty, but let's get this old machine cranked up again, shall we? Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Honestly, I don't even remember if I have a sign off thing or not. So sign off.